Welcome everyone to another Acornhead gaming video. Today we will take a look at the indie title Overland. I hope you enjoy, and if you do, please consider subscribing for more content. Overland is an XCOM-like strategy game developed by the indie studio Finji. You may know them from their previous title Night in the Woods, but I actually recognize them for their future title Tunic. It's a game that's received lots of attention during the past couple E3s for being a cute-looking, Zelda-inspired game. If you haven't already, I would check it out because it honestly looks like it'll be great. But that's aside from the point. I actually got Overland from the itch.io bundle for racial justice and equality. For a small donation, they gave away over 1,000 games. I donated to a good cause, and I got a lot of games in return. I honestly can't complain. I just became the owner of over 1,000 new games. I was in quite a predicament. Which of the thousands should I play first? Eventually, I decided on Overland. But what made me download and play this one first? Well, to be honest, the beautiful art style captured my attention. And then I read it was a tactical strategy game taking place in an apocalyptic America where you go on a cross-country road trip. I mean, come on, count me in. Now, before I get into the meat of this game, let me give you a quick rundown of what an XCOM-like strategy game actually is. There are tough, turn-based tactical strategy games where you need to be very careful of your every move. You can equip different items on your party members to give them an edge. But remember, one slip up and your character can be permanently killed. I still remember rage quitting after hours of playing XCOM when my favorite party members got killed. However, aside from the micro-based strategy, in XCOM-like games, there's also a macro strategy you need to be aware of. In Overland, this macro strategy is trying to figure out what resources you'll need on your road trip and where you can find them, so plotting out your course is very important. But I'll give you more details in a bit. Let's start off talking about the bread and butter of this game, what I think matters most, and that is the minute-to-minute gameplay. The game starts off deceptively easy, at least for me it did, and that helped me nail down the basics. Your character can move a certain distance each turn and perform different actions, such as searching bins or abandoned cars for items, recruiting a new party member, filling up the gas tank of your car, or driving off to escape, leaving whoever's left to fend for themselves. But just remember, they could be coming back for revenge. The enemies in Overland are weird, monster-looking creatures that slowly spawn in the map, meaning you've got to be in and out as soon as possible before they overwhelm you. But at times, their spawns can be near impossible to deal with, and your best bet is just to turn your car on and drive off. Not every encounter is worth fighting for. For the most part, you can't kill the monsters, unless you find a weapon such as a bottle or a knife. And even with these tools, you can only kill the small monsters, or stun the larger ones. As you travel further across America, towards the west coast, more difficult creatures start to spawn in, and the levels are more densely packed with them. This is when it starts to get really tough. The game really shines in high-stress moments when you need to make high-impact decisions. Like, should I sacrifice a party member so the others will be able to loot enough gas to keep going? Or should I just get out of here with the little gas I have left and hope the next level will be easier? This is the true heart of Overland, making tough decisions in tougher scenarios. If you make the wrong choice, days later, it can come back and bite you in the ass. Now let's zoom out and get to the bigger picture. That is to say, how exactly do you get across America? Well, through a map, you can simply click on the next destination, and you'll load into that level. But you have to remember, each destination has a certain cost of gasoline to get there, and will have distinct resources. This is where strategy comes into play. I found that later in the game, I was always struggling to find gasoline, and that's a big problem, since without enough gasoline to reach your next destination, you get stuck in a cycle of loading into randomly generated levels until you get enough gas to reach your next destination. And these encounters can get real brutal, real fast. If you can avoid getting in a cycle of looking for gas, you can actually pick up a lot of different loot, like flashlights, medkits, upgraded vehicles, or even new party members. These give you an edge when it comes to the late game. Overall, the macro management of your party and journey I think is a really cool idea and is actually one of the highlights for me. It really makes you pay more attention to the levels and make sure you scour each corner so you don't miss anything. It makes you think about resource management, what is important to you, and where you should head to next. But now it's time for a scripted joke, since I got a lot of criticism last video for not being funny enough. What do lawyers wear to court? Lawsuits. Isn't that funny? But I think it's time we get to some criticisms now. I've said enough good things about this game, it's time to rip it apart. Or at least, paint it in a different light. The main thing I noticed while playing Overland was how devoid of life everything was. At first glance, this game hooked me with its charming art style and indie look, but the more I played, the more I realized how empty it was. The game felt silent. Maybe that was a design choice, but to me, it felt more like a budget issue. All you ever hear are the clicks of your mouse. I wish the game had more personality and pulled up my heart a bit more, because the art style is definitely amazing, but it just ends there. None of the characters are voice acted. All of them repeat the same lines over and over again in a text box. The monsters didn't really seem too unique to me either. This game could have been so much more if they added some music, better audio, and gave the monsters and party members just a little bit more personality. I remember ditching a party member and I didn't even feel that bad. A one-sentence line is all that popped up. So, overall, the ideas this game proposes are really interesting. A road trip across the states in an XCOM-style game sounds amazing. The art style is phenomenal, and each level are somewhat distinct. Perhaps they're even procedurally generated. Aside from the style and the setting, the gameplay itself is really fun too, and mentally challenging. You're always on your toes, watching your resources and plotting your course. However, there are some fatal flaws with this game. The audio design is very dull, the characters and even the monsters were dull too. The game rides on you loving the XCOM style of gameplay and the overall setting of a road trip in apocalyptic America. If you don't think you'd like that, then I'd steer clear. I hope everyone watching had a blast because I know I enjoyed putting it together. And now you know a little bit more about Overland and Finji. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing because there will be a lot more great content coming soon. Also, leave a comment below because I genuinely want to know what pulled you in and made you look for gameplay on YouTube. Now, let me quickly talk about ourselves and our community. We are two Canadian college kids who grew up playing video games. We make all kinds of content, including podcasts, live streams, reviews, and a lot more. We are extremely community driven and would love for you to discuss games with us. Consider joining our Discord, the link's in the description below. Also, we'd love for you to tune into our Twitch stream, the link is also in the description below. Thank you and have a great day.